I've got another 23 Midjourney tips for you to try. Let's start with tip number 1. Reimagined. Use that word in your prompt, reimagined. It's a lot of fun to try. You can ask for basically anything to be reimagined as something else, like a couch reimagined as a fridge. I think one animal to another seems to work the best, and I want to say I don't know who found this trick, but I remember seeing people use it in the Super User Club on Discord, so I apologize to whoever isn't getting the credit they deserve. This one is awesome. Check out this walrus with a little bit of a mane as he was reimagined as a lion, or this husky reimagined as a bird. Isn't that so cool? Doesn't Midjourney do such a good job at this really abstract concept? Ooh, I like this one a lot too. Or how about these mouse reimagined as fish? A car reimagined as a desk lamp. I guess that's a little cyber-trucky, but still cool nonetheless. A poodle reimagined as a dolphin. Okay, this is a little scary, but I think you get the point. Tip number 2. Pixel art. If you're looking for consistent pixel art, I think this workflow will help you the most. Like here, I tried generating 8-bit pixel art until I found something I liked. I thought this looked beautiful, so I'm gonna drag this into the prompt box, and then I'm gonna make sure style reference is selected. In the prompt box, you can write any scene that you like. I'm going to use permutations to run all these prompts at once. But we're still not done. I think you should also add the style weight parameter to your prompt. --SW, and then I suggest going all the way to 1000. This means that this picture will have the most amount of influence possible on the next generation. And if you're still not happy with the results, there's one more thing you can try, and that is style version. --SV, and then either 1, 2, or 3. 4 is the default, so we've already tried that, but one of these other versions might get you closer to your vision. Like here's style version 1, and that's interesting. I like these. Style version 2 is quite different, right? And then we have style version number 3, which is also a different look. And one of these might be what you wanted the most. Tip number 3. Where is it? If you're using the website but it seems like you're missing some options, like the aspect ratio changer, you might be zoomed in too much or not enough. Let me show you. At 125%, I am missing one of the options over here to change my aspect ratio. If I were to zoom out a little more, I would see it right here. This is where I can change the ratio manually. At 125, it's missing, but it also appears when I zoom in just a little more. Just keep that in mind. If you see something on my screen that you don't have, maybe you need to adjust the zoom of your web page as a whole. And if you're new here, my name is Nolan. I help curious people learn AI without feeling overwhelmed. If you've learned something new so far, please consider leaving a like on this video so we can share it with more people. And if you're interested in helping keep my channel sponsor free, you can check out my Patreon in the description below. Tip number 4, website to Discord. If you create images on Discord, they show up on the website. However, if you create images on the website, they do not show up on Discord. But you can get around this. If we open our picture of Batman on the beach, and we click this little option button up here, and then click open in Discord, it's not going to work. Discord URL is not available. That's fine. Here's how we can get around it. We can click on that option again, go to copy, and then job ID. Job ID is copied to clipboard. Now we can go into Discord. We can use the /show command. Click on show job ID. We're going to use Control V or Command V to paste that ID into the prompt box. And when we hit enter, the bot will bring up that grid as if we made it on Discord. That's pretty cool, right? This might come in handy for you, especially for this next trick. Tip number 5, video grids. Try a video generator with a Midjourney grid. I've been experimenting with Luma Dream Machine recently, and it's a lot of fun. To do this particular trick, you'll need to generate on Discord first, or use that tip I just showed you to bring up your website generations. You'll then save the entire grid as one picture and use that as an input for Luma. I like to leave my prompt blank, but also check off Enhance Prompt. It just seems to work a little better. This Batman one didn't work out very well, but let me show you some others. That's amazing. Oh, I love that one so much. I think it works great for a grid of people as well. I mean, it's not perfect, but this is a pretty cool effect. Or this one's kind of funny because it doesn't know that the grid should stay a grid completely, and it sort of blends together. I don't know, I think this can be a lot of fun. Tip number 6, quality. If you didn't know, you can actually ask Midjourney to take a little longer to generate in exchange for a higher quality image. To do this, you can add --Q and then the number 2 at the end of your prompts. This will cost more of your fast hours though. Alternatively, you can lower the quality to --Q 0.5 to receive your generations faster and cheaper. But should you? Let me show you this example and then you can tell me what you think. This is a portrait in weaving style at quality 0.5. I use the same seed to generate this picture in other quality values, and this is what it will look like. There's quality 1 and there's quality 2. Can you tell a difference other than the pictures being a little different, but the actual quality? Can you see anything? Let's go through another example. Here's another picture from the same grid in 0.5. Here it is in 1 and there it is in 2. Again, can you see the difference? Do you like one of them more? Last example, 0.5, 1, and 2. Which one do you like more? Is it worth generating? I don't know. And then take a look at what happens when we use the subtle upscaler on these different quality generations. Here's the 0.5 base to the upscale. Is there a difference? I'll do a quick back and forth. Like, very, very minor. Here's quality 1 to the upscale. And here's quality 2 to the upscale. I guess the point of this tip is that upscaling on different qualities doesn't really matter, but there is a big difference between the quality values. 0.5 will get you images quicker and cheaper, but quality 2 will take a little more time, cost a little more, and maybe add something that you were hoping for. Experiment and let me know what you think. Tip number 7, expiration. I got this comment recently from Monkey Farm Incorporated telling me that Midjourney changed how fast hours work. Apparently they sent out an email. I never got one, but here's the change. Starting October 1st, fast hours that you purchase will expire after 60 days. Now, I have to say, I don't think they expired before. I'm pretty sure if you bought fast hours, they just stayed with you forever. Now you do have a 60-day limit. And you can see this when you go into your subscription settings, buy more fast hours, and it does say here, purchase fast hours expire after 60 days and require an active subscription to use. Maybe that just helps them allocate their computer power a little better. Either way, I didn't know about this change, so maybe it's worth letting you know in case you missed it as well. Tip number 8. A card trick. Here's a fun one to try if you're interested in making playing cards of any style. First, you're going to find a card design that you like. I actually found this one on the Explore page, so shout out to Annikova for this one. I ran the prompt myself, so I had the generation, and then this is what you're going to do. You're going to go into the editor and simply select everything except the outside of the image. It can be a little crude, you don't need to be exact, but what this is going to do is it's going to keep the border and allow us to change what appears in the middle. So instead of a blue and gold fortune telling card with an Inquisitor, I'm going to change up the color and the subject. Here I went with a pink fortune telling card of an android angel. And I didn't really like a lot of these, but I thought number 4 fit the style correctly, so what I did was hit very strong. And that will get us more results like these. And I'm sure you'll like one of those a lot more than the others. Play around with theme, play around with subject, play around with color. This is an amazing way to create a unique, beautiful, and consistent card set. Tip number 9, arrangement. Another fun word for you to try in your prompt is arranged, as in arrangement. Pick your subject, pick your scene, and then pick a shape. I tried triangles, circles, spirals, hexagons, and the results are really cool to look at. Like Batman arranged in triangles. You could try the coral reef under Atlantis arranged in spirals. Look how amazing that is. Oh, those are so beautiful. Look at that. It's a way to add geometry and like a meta structure to your composition. Batman arranged in hexagons is pretty cool. Even add some stylize, a little chaos, and the weird parameter, you can get some pretty cool generations. Tip number 10, the P list. I'm a big fan of the personalization system, but every time you rank more images, your code will change. It can be kind of difficult to keep track of these changes, but there is one thing you can do on Discord. We're going to use the /list p command. This will bring up every code you've ever created. There's quite a bit to go through, and that's why it's so hard to keep track on your own. I have 24 total. And hopefully this gets built into the main Midjourney website sooner than later. Tip number 11, editor workflow. When you find an image you like but you have some in-painting to do, it's tempting to fix everything in one go, but you should be fixing things one at a time. If you try to correct like 5 different spots, the odds are incredibly slim that we'll be able to fix all the parts in the same picture. Like here I have an Art Nouveau style festival and I think this is a beautiful picture, but some of these things just aren't quite right. So we go into the editor, and then instead of marking everything that you want to be fixed, I really do suggest going one at a time. If we try to fix them all all in one go, we might get results like this. Some of those pictures got some parts right, but none of them fixed everything the way I wanted. That is why I suggest editing one spot at a time. So maybe we'll start with these characters down here and we'll hit submit. And then we'll find one we like best, like this image. Then we go into editor and maybe we change this shape down here. We'll hit submit and we'll pick one of these images that we like, and then we'll go in and we'll edit the rest. Trust me, this will save you some headaches. You probably can't fix everything at once. Go one at a time. Tip number 12, make a GIF. Now let me explain. First, I think you should create in a square aspect ratio to start, and then expand it into a wider canvas. This will get you a steady framed composition, and then you can create cool effects or a GIF by changing what shows up around it. And just a little extra tip, I suggest raising the chaos value when you're editing your prompt. Raise it to something like chaos 50 or even higher to get the most interesting results that will look cool when you cycle through them. This gave me a bunch of results like these. Then what I did was download all of those individual pictures and upload them to this site, Easy GIF. I'll link it in the description below. You can find these files on your computer, and then you want to click upload files. Once that's done, it will look something like this, and to be honest, I don't know what these settings actually do, but from here you can go down and click make a GIF, and it will create something like this for you, and I think you can have a lot of fun with this technique. Maybe you could even keep a static background and change the faces in the scene. Tip number 13, stretch it out. I feel like I had to include this one because my favorite aspect ratios to use recently have been 3:1 and 1:3. Something about the composition is just unreal, and if you want, you can expand the canvas after that. First of all, in your gallery in the search bar, you can just type in the aspect ratio you're looking for. Look how cool some of these are. It's just amazing how the image and the subject stretch for the canvas. I think this aspect ratio works great when you're doing style reference random, and in general, I just like seeing what Midjourney comes up with when it is forced to create on a wide or vertically stretched canvas. Tip number 14, my P. Here's a fun little workflow you can try. It's simple, quick, and interesting. I like going through the explore page and finding pictures I like. I'll click use prompt, but then I'll add --p at the end. So it will run this prompt with my own personalization code. This makes sure the results are uniquely mine, and it's fascinating to see my style in all of these different prompts. Prompts I would never normally run by myself. Like, let's take this cow for example. Click on it, editorial photo, cow uses eyeglasses, that's kind of funny. We'll go down to use prompt. I'll hit space and then I'll type --p. And look how beautiful some of these pictures are. And then there's our cow. Not bad, right? Tip number 15, clean up your create page. I actually suggested this in my website wishlist video, but it turns out it's already possible. So special thanks to jgreg95 for pointing this one out. Albeit it's a little impractical, but you can hide individual image on the create page by avoiding this hide button on the grid. Instead, we're going to go into the image itself, click this little extra option button at the top, and then click hide. Now on the create page, it won't be there anymore. And like I said in my wishlist video, I was hoping there'd be a button here just to do this a lot quicker. Either way, it is possible, and that's how you do it. But it is funny, if you look close enough, you can kind of see the outline of the cow. I mean, the glasses there, can you see it? Maybe I can bump up the contrast or something. Tip number 16, Scorched Code. You gotta try this style reference code. From a distance, it doesn't look very special, but the closer you look, the more amazing it is. And you may have seen this in one of my previous examples, I don't know if I showed it. It is code 3610137247. Trust me, write that down. And I actually found this on the Midjourney Explore page, so special thanks to Chibi Kaga. That is where I got this from. And I apologize if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Let me show you this code in action. Look at the way it's able to portray a grungy texture, the white, the black, and the orange all mixed. But also a little bit of illumination in the orange really sets it apart. The fact that there are no real clean lines and that you can see the layers of each color, I think it makes this code super special. Like, that is amazing. This code works great for every aspect ratio. Look how pretty that is. It worked great for any subject I tried. I could not get enough of this look. And here's a reason why I love the 1:3 ratio so much. Look how beautiful that picture is. Like, it's so interesting. Trust me, try this SREF code. Tip number 17, the shape of X. I have to say special thanks to Youthful on Discord. I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly, and I'm not sure if they're the ones who created this, but I saw it being passed around in the super user group. Basically, you'll prompt for a 3-dimensional shape like a cube or a sphere, and then a subject. Also, I found that this works best when you use a square aspect ratio. Like here's a really simple prompt, a cube of comic book art. It kind of turns it into this Rubik's Cube, right? But I think it can be so beautiful. You could try a cube of coral. Like that, that's amazing. Also a big fan of that transparent look right there. You could try something like vintage pop art. Isn't that beautiful? You could get a little risque with your prompt. Here's futuristic pop art. Either way, the geometric shape really holds the piece together. Oh my god, that's amazing. If I had that on my desk, I think that would be so cool. Check this, a cube of neon art deco art. Like, isn't that stunning? Oh my god, I can't get enough of that. But it doesn't have to stop there. You could try spheres as your shape. And I think that's brilliant as well. Ooh, I like that a lot. And then look what the idea of a pyramid brings to it. Granted, these might be a little more abstract than the cube, but I still think they're so much fun to look at. That's a crazy picture. Tip number 18. Adjusting the strength. Recently, JGM Live left me a comment and asked, if their prompt contains both an sref and their personalization code, is there a way to weight these codes? Like if they only wanted a small amount of the sref code to affect the image, but they wanted their personalization code to dominate the style. How would they go about that? They said they tried using multi-prompting, but it wasn't working out. So I ran some experiments, and unfortunately you can't add weights to parameters with 2 colons, the traditional multi-prompting way. But here's what you can do. You can use some additional parameters to control the strength of those 2 features. For --p, we can use the stylized parameter --s. That's going to control the influence of your personalized style. 100 is the default, lower it for less influence, and raise it to 1000 for the maximum U. Meanwhile, for a style reference code, we can use the style weight parameter --sw to control the strength of the style. Again, 100 is the default, lower it for less influence, and raise it to 1000 for the max. Let's go through a live example with that Scorched Code from earlier. Let's go with a mechanical armadillo ready for war. We have our sref code, and then we're going to add --p to see the base results. Then we will change the different values. Okay, maybe my prompt wasn't that great, but I do like these results a lot. Now let's change the influence of each part of the prompt. This first example, S40, SW500, is going to lower the weight of our personal style and raise the influence of that Scorched Code. And these are the results. What do you think? The pictures are quite different in my opinion. The black is a lot darker, and maybe the subject itself is a little more obscured in the image. Now, if we flip those values and we raise the stylized to 500, increasing the influence of our personalization code while decreasing the style weight down to 40, these are the results. And whoa, those are super different. Just goes to show you, same prompt, same parameters can result in very different looking images if you change the weight of those parameters. Keep this one in mind. Tip number 19. Are you feeling nostalgic? If you're around my age, you might want to try Unreal Engine render with a low stylized value in Midjourney for early 2000s computer graphics. I know that's pretty specific, but we're going to prompt for a subject and then add the words Unreal Engine render. Then we are going to lower the stylized value, and this works great when you also include Midjourney as the version. I lower the stylized to 25, and this is in Niji 6. Doesn't this remind you of a time where all computer graphics look like this? Like, this person, this character has never existed, but that is so nostalgic to me. Look at Wonder Woman. That is so early 2000s. Honestly, it probably looks better than I'm remembering, but either way, this is how you can get that look. Tip number 20, discover new styles. Okay, this is a bit of a weird workflow, but bear with me here. First, you're going to use sref random until you see a style that you like. Then you're going to save those pictures to your computer and send them to ChatGPT. You're going to ask GPT some possible names for that style, and then you're going to use those names in a new prompt. For the prompt, I like to write, what would you call this style? Please provide as many choices as possible, and please be creative. GPT will list out a bunch of different names. Some of them will suck, but some of them will be extremely unique and inspiring to try. From that process, I got styles like minimalist manga tech. I think those look really cool. Another one I liked was pen stroke pop. Gorgeous. And then check this one, retro mod collage. Couple of fun words to put together, and look how beautiful those are. I like neon abstractica a lot. Cyber etch-a-sketch style is a fun one for sure. And then check this one of my favorite words I've ever seen. or cadontrix. Like, that is an incredible word that GPT came up with all on its own in response to a style I had given it. This one can be a lot of fun. It'll help you find new styles. And that's maybe one of the best parts of AI in general. Complete and assisted exploration of your imagination. Tip number 21, character in style. Here's a workflow for how you can see your character as another character in a specific style. First, your task is to find a style that you like this Niji generation for Wonder Woman. The second part is using that picture as a style reference for your next prompt and bumping up the style weight to 1000. You're going to keep the words in the prompt the same, Wonder Woman or whatever character you chose, and then you're going to add a picture of your own character. We're going to make sure character reference is selected on our character, and we are going to lower the character weight parameter all the way down to 0. You can keep your personalization code and you can keep Midjourney if you want, but these are the results you'll get. Look how cool that is. That's amazing. Here are some other examples of different characters I used, and look how cool it is when it keeps that consistent style. This is such a good way of getting a consistent character to play as another character, a more well-known character. There's Eliza. Do you remember her? Isn't this amazing? Oh, that's so cool. I even tried it with this picture of a dog, and Midjourney didn't quite recognize it, but it got the sunglasses correct. I don't know. This is a lot of fun to me, at least. Tip number 22, Style Safari. If you're interested in different styles like me, you gotta check this website out. And a special thanks to Prompt Siren, I'm pretty sure that's who put this all together. It is a gigantic catalog of different style reference codes. So many to choose from and so many ways to sort through it. You can search by keywords. If I click on surrealism here, it'll take me to all of the codes that have been tagged with that keyword. I'm sure this was a ton of work to put together and I couldn't be more grateful. Please consider using this website if you're searching for codes yourself. And tip number 23, Lineage. Shout out to Simon Gotts 8126 for inspiring this suggestion. In my last video, I showed you how to see a person at different ages, but how about a person in different ages? And this time, instead of remix, we are going to use the character reference feature. Lowering the character weight is important. Lowering the stylized value is probably important. Style raw can help, but I'm not sure if it's necessary, and removing any color details might help for older pictures. Like if you want a black and white photo, it might help to remove that your character has blonde hair and blue eyes, you know? It might also help to describe the quality of the photo, as in a grainy VHS. And you know what? The older you're going, the more you want to avoid the word photo altogether. Instead, try something like depiction or portrayal. So we have our character selected as a character reference, and the prompt is something like a newspaper photo of a 30-year-old woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. CW0, stylized 0, style raw. And isn't that incredible? That's such a cool picture. It's not necessarily a newspaper photo, but Midjourney understood that I wanted something that looked a little older. It aged her hair in this vintage way. I think that's so awesome. Check out these 1940s photos. Oh my God, these are so beautiful. It captures the way that light hits perfectly. So this is like the ancestor of our woman taking a selfie with an iPhone. We can go even farther back with an 1850 aristocrat photo. Instead of saying just 1850, it does help when you add a little more context to sort of ground the generation with either a job or some sort of status symbol. I think that helps a lot. That's amazing. A 13th century depiction, look how good that is. A black and white photo of a 30-year-old farmer woman in the 1850s. That's historic right there. A 1920s flapper photo of a 30-year-old woman. In this case, no style raw, and I use the default stylized value. Play around with the parameters. You might like one of these settings more than the other. That's amazing. I like that one a lot. The black and white photo, oh, that's so cool. The VHS quality photo is a lot of fun, but remember I said you should try considering words like grainy to add a little bit of texture to the generation? This is by far one of my favorite things to do. That's incredible. Or even this, an ancient Worley mural. There is so much to experiment with, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. That's all I have for you today, but if you missed my last tips video, you should really watch that one now. I hope you're doing well, take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.